Hey everyone, welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper. In the psychological thriller, The Enemy Within, Morris Chestnut plays Will Keaton, an FBI agent who must put aside his personal pain and enlist the most notorious traitor in American history to help him track down a fiercely dangerous and elusive criminal. Take a look.
Hello, Agent Shepherd. I'm watching your daughter. I want the names of the 4 agents who are following me. Your daughter's life or theirs?
Wait!
5, 4, 3,
Stop counting!
1.
David Heimbach, Brian Lannick, Desiree Villarreal, Lane Halpern!
I made a choice to save my daughter.
You're under arrest for espionage and conspiracy against America.
3 attacks, 3 different cities.
Victims?
3 CIA operatives.
I want to bring in Erica Shepherd. She's the best code breaker in the history of the CIA.
And she's also a traitor. She killed 3 CIA agents and my fiancé. What are you doing, Erica? Why are you cooperating with us?
Mikhail Tal is the deadliest enemy we've ever faced. I want to make him pay for destroying my life.
She sees the world differently.
Look for someone on the inside. You have to start pulling on threads that you never thought to. Oh my God.
14 people were assassinated.
It was a trap.
You gave up 4 CIA operatives. Why should I trust you?
I want to fight every day to earn my way back. I'm asking you to help me do that.
Put your hands together for Morris Chestnut. How you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I got to check out The Enemy Within, and I think you guys have a hit.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I
Thank
really
you.
do,
Thank you.
because there is sort of this new void with these spy shows. You know, we've had The American is going away, and Homeland is wrapping up, and I think people are looking for a new kind of spy thriller, and this kind of checks all the boxes. So, for you, what drew you to this project?
To me, it was, I felt it was a little different. I've seen a couple of those shows, and just it's the character-driven piece of the show. I mean, both of our characters are dealing with some deep emotional challenges. Yes, I'm with the FBI, and she was former CIA, but that's somewhat of the backdrop. It's really about the characters and what they're going through.
And tell us about your character. Who is he?
Right, so I play Will Keaton as an FBI agent, and basically, I track down America's greatest spies and international spies, and I bring them to justice. I arrest Erica Shepherd because she committed treason, and she is responsible for my fiance's death. And so what happens is I put her away, I lock her away for that's like 15 consecutive life sentences, and we end up having to work. I need her to solve one of the latest to catch one of the latest criminals, and she needs me because she needs to try to build a relationship with her daughter. So, and it's the day to day with that relationship by with dealing with the emotional loss.
I only got to watch the pilot, and at the end of it, I couldn't wait for more, which is a really good sign.
Oh, thank you.
For you, though, when you get those scripts every week, do you feel the same way? Because I feel like these characters have so much room to grow. There's so many places they can go.
And that's the thing. That's one of the things. When I read the pilot, I was really curious about where the characters go after it. I wanted to see more, and I wanted to go deeper. These 2 characters they're just so profound, and it's like peeling off layers each episode. So yeah, you'll get that feeling. There's some episodes that some people are going to cry, and there are going to be some episodes at the end people are just really going to want to know more, and it inspires conversation.
Yeah, I have to say that, Jennifer, your chemistry together is amazing, and so much of it, I feel like, are the looks you give each other. It's like not even the spoken stuff, it's just intensity. So what kind of work did you guys do to help build that kind of tension between you two?
You know, we just had it. You know, so much about acting and going into your character is going into a scene. You know what's on the script, but going beyond that and saying, you know what's being said, but what are you thinking that's not being said? And I think we kind of both do that quite a bit in this show.
Yeah. Did it take some time to figure that out, or you said it just sort of clicked?
No, it really just clicked. I mean, we just met on the pilot. You know, we didn't know each other, and we just started getting into it. And she's very professional. We're both very similar. We're athletes at heart, and we come to set. We're prepared. We're on time. We do our job.
Yeah. And doing your job is acting, but you also are playing a FBI agent, and these are real people. These are that are out there fighting these real battles every day. So what kind of role or what kind of work did you do to prepare for that?
Right, I've played FBI agents before, but this particular character, I had an FBI agent on set when we were doing the pilot, and I actually have his number in my phone, so I can always call upon him if I need anything else.
What's a question you've asked him?
So in the pilot, for instance, there are certain things that I was going through. So what were you thinking if you were in this situation? How would you pursue someone? When you walk into your office, what are you thinking? Like, what would be one of the first things that you would do coming in here? Because it's a lot of it's a psychological game as well. And I've asked him some questions that he wouldn't give me the answer to because he's an FBI agent. He wouldn't tell me anything.
Is there anything really interesting you've learned about the psychology of being an FBI agent?
Yeah, I mean, so one aspect of the training, and he has to discuss this with Jennifer, is one of the things when they were trained to be an FBI agent, you have to go home, find someone who knows you really well, and lie to them and convince them of a lie. And that's just the whole psychological aspect of it, and that's what I love about our show. Our show is somewhat psychological because some people may look at that trailer and they may feel that she's the villain. But then once you watch the show and you understand why she's doing what she's doing, some people may feel like she's a victim. And I think people throughout the season will fluctuate back and forth on that.
Was your wife like, don't try that lying thing at home?
No. I never tried it. That was the FBI training, but I never tried it, no.
Definitely the emotional part of it is really, really strong. You sort of touched on that. And it really does boil down for both of these characters, I feel like. It's about sacrifice, which is a theme I saw throughout the pilot and led to some really emotional moments for her character in the pilot anyway.
Right, yeah. So basically, she has a lot of emotional moments throughout the pilot, but throughout the season, both of us will have a lot of emotional moments, and it's ultimately what sacrifice is. What are you willing to sacrifice for? And that's the thing about it is some people you have to decide: are you willing to sacrifice personally for your personal well-being, even if it goes against the well-being of others? So it's that fine line that we cross.
Yeah, you said some viewers might cry. I mean, I did.
Oh,
I teared up in the school scene. I won't give it away, but I was like, whoa, didn't see that coming.
It's deep. It's deep.
It cut really deep. And again, it's those moments where you start to look at somebody with fresh eyes.
100%.
And that villains always have a backstory, which is what I loved about this show.
Right. And it's, like I say, it's one of those things to where, like I say, some people may feel she's a villain, some people may not. They may empathize with her and say, I always liken it to, I think that there's going to be times when people watch this at home in their living rooms with the family, and it's going to be divided because some people may empathize with her for what she's doing, some people may empathize with me, and then from episode to episode, it may switch. You may see some things that I do that people may feel, well, why is he doing that? They may start to question me and favor her. So it's one of those types of shows that's going to go back and forth. I'm
always interested in playing a character like this. Do you ever feel like, oh, I could really be in the FBI. I could do this.
No. I've done enough projects to where I've somewhat dabbled in a little bit of fantasy of being an FBI player, a football player, and I just have enough respect because I know there's a lot of people out there who they'll see an actor and say, oh, I can be an actor. Yeah. And they'll see a football player. Why is a quarterback throwing an interception? I would have never thrown an interception until you're actually put in that situation. I know the work that it takes for any professional to do what they do, and I have a lot of respect for the FBI, and I possibly would like to do it because I like the mind games of it, but it takes a lot. It's just a huge commitment.
Yeah, are you good at tactical stuff? Because I watch a show like this and I'm confused the entire time. Like I have to be paying attention. And that's why I enjoy it because I'm really not great at figuring things out.
Really? You don't think so?
Oh no, it goes all over my head until the very end. I'm like, oh, and it's like the point where they're giving you the answer.
Right.
I didn't figure it out.
Right. Sometimes I'm a logical person, and sometimes I feel like I can figure things out, and sometimes I get a little bored trying to figure it out. The one thing about our show also is, in addition to all of the mind, the psychological aspect of the show, we have a lot of action as well. So it's a combination of both. And it's also one of the things I'm really most proud about the show. It's a cable feel. The show feels like cable, but it's on network television, and that's what I love about it.
Very much. That was the first feeling I had, is that I love how networks have continued to evolve and grow and change because the landscape has changed so much.
110%. Yeah, you're right.
And this show was a perfect example of that, so I'm glad you said that.
Thank you.
You mentioned the physicality of the role. I saw you body slamming some people, and it opens up with you sprinting down the mall. And so what kind of prep did you have to do on that front?
I keep myself, I try, I go to the gym, quite a bit, so I try to stay in shape, but I don't, I have a stunt man who comes in and does some. I do some of the stuff. Basically, so how it works, the challenge with doing a show that's heavy, a television show that's heavy in action, is that you never really have the time to prepare a stunt. Like if you do a movie, you'll have a month to learn the stunts and go through everything. On this, I'll just have to get to work 30 minutes earlier and do the stunt, to where my stunt man, while I'm on set, acting, he's prepping, the stunt work. So I do my stunts, but I have a stunt person that does it well. So I'll do a little bit of it, and he does it. I always tell him, let him do it first, get it really good, and then I'll come in and do it.
Why is it important for you to still try to do a little bit?
Because I like, the audience is smart, and I do like to participate in the stunts. I do enjoy the stunt work. I do enjoy getting in the mix and actually being there, because you have some movies or television shows where you can kind of tell it's really not the actor, and I kind of would like to be there for the most part. And,
I do think the viewers appreciate that.
I think, yeah, definitely.
I also want to point out that you have some really, your character has some anger issues, is maybe a nice way to put it.
Right. So that was the challenge in the pilot, because, So when the show opens up, my character has suffered the loss of his fiance, and she's responsible for that. So the wound is still very fresh when the show opens up. And yes, he does have some anger issues, but that gets tapered down through the course of the season. And it really was one of my concerns at some point, because I was like, he's always running around angry, and then someone I know who's close to me, they saw the pilot and say, you never smile. I was like, well, it's a different character. It's not Rosewood. Rosewood was smiling too much. Now I don't smile. It's like, well, you never smile. Well, you didn't watch Rosewood, I'll be smiling.
Right. And you were the lead in Rosewood. You're the lead here. Yeah. What did you learn from that experience that you've carried over into The Enemy Within?
So Rosewood was my first time doing 2 whole seasons of 22 episodes each. And as an actor, if you've ever done 22 episodes as a lead role on a television show, it's a huge grind, and you really have no life. So what I was able to bring from that to this is just an understanding what this was going to be about. It's a huge responsibility. The shows on set, they normally take on the characteristics of the leads, and if the leads come to work every day upset, angry, just don't want to be there, that spreads throughout the whole production. And so it's just a responsibility about, she and I both share the responsibility of being leads on the show.
Yeah. How long are those days?
Oh, my goodness. So luckily NBC has a policy, and I don't think our days go beyond 12 or 13 hours. When I was doing Rosewood, it was like, it was a lot. But yeah, so it's 12, but it's a grind, because you work Monday through Friday, and you're working every day and getting your lines and doing all that. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, you have to start working on the script and memorize it. So you really kind of never have a day off, really.
How much does your workout regimen and your lifestyle help with that? Because I know you wrote a fitness book a couple years ago, and it seems to be something you're really passionate about. How does that help you as an actor show up and be present?
Definitely, because I like to consider myself healthy, and I try to keep my cardio in somewhat good shape, and I have to stay away from the sweets and things a lot. But it keeps me going. It keeps me fit enough to work the demands of that show, and it does become harder to get a workout in. But I never go past 2 to 3 days without getting in the gym some type of way. You have to work out some type of way. So it makes it a challenge being on the show.
Yeah. When I was doing research for this interview, I obviously have followed your career for a number of years, but I didn't realize Boys in the Hood was 28 years ago.
Was it 28?
I think so.
Wow, I think I was 2 because I'm
Yeah.
30 now.
You're only 30.
Yeah, I'm only 30, so I was 2 years old.
Carry the 2.
Carry the 2. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 30.
Was it 28 years ago?
Yeah, I think
Wow.
so. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Is that, I mean, when you look back at your longevity, what do you credit that to?
Knock on wood, knock on wood. To me, there's certain aspects that I feel that are important in all aspects of life. Primarily, I think, you should treat people with respect. Everyone that I've worked with, there's never been a hierarchy. There's always been, I treat everybody with the same level of respect. Just try to be kind and treat people with respect. And I think that it always comes back. And I think that goes with everything, not just on a movie set. Even if you just walk into a restaurant or walk into McDonald's to get an order, I think it goes a long way.
Yeah. People want to keep working with you, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah, fortunately, yes, so far.
And I know we've seen a lot of revivals come back from the 90s.
Right.
We had Best Man Holiday. I've heard some things about a Best Man 3. It's been in and out. Can you give me any updates on that?
So there is a script for the Best Man 3,
Okay.
the third sequel. We just have to see if we can all get our schedules together and do it, but there is a script.
What can I do as a fan to help this happen?
Hey, write to Universal, write to Malcolm Lee, who's in New York, and say, hey, we want the Best Man 3. I mean, Malcolm Lee has like 85 million jobs right now. He's doing a lot. But yeah, write to Universal.
When you look at that cast, everybody is working, which is a blessing.
It's a blessing. I mean, we've all been around for several years, and everyone is working. It definitely is a blessing.
Yeah. Is there any talk of bringing back any of the other films you've worked on, like The Brothers, or even like Mike? I mean, asking for a friend.
There has been talk about Like Mike. The Brothers has kind of been a little bit of talk about that. But, the thing about it is, when you bring some of those shows back, you really have to, films, you have to have somewhere to go. And it's been challenging to figure out, because everyone thinks about it, but it's really challenging figuring out where they actually go.
Yeah. I'm interested to know what you think about representation now, because when you guys were making these movies in the 90s, they were a big deal because there were these all-black casts, and it was the first time we were really seeing it, and they're so special, and I think that's why they've lived on for so long. Right. And we're lucky now that we see more and more representation on TV and in film. Issa Rae pops to mind and things like that. So you looking at how it's evolved, what do you think?
I think it's great. I think it's a great time. I recall, so when I was starting out, really the only black leading man that was working at that time was Denzel Washington. And kind of around the same time, because New Jack City came out a little bit before Boys in the Hood, then Wesley started working. But now, you have such great, tremendous talent. You have, Chadwick Boseman. You have Michael B. Jordan. You have Idris Elba. All these guys are really putting in incredible work. And it's great to see.
Yeah. I love it. And you've worked with some of the greats. Is there an actor that you'd want to work with again?
I've enjoyed all of my experiences. I really have taken a little bit from each. So yeah, I wouldn't mind working with everybody again.
Yeah. That's a good answer. You're like, whoever picked up the phone.
Well, no, I've been fortunate enough to have some tremendous experiences. I've had some bad experiences, some people I wouldn't want to work with again, but I can't reveal now. But
I mean, you could.
I could, but I'd rather not. But yeah, most of the people I want to work with again.
That's awesome. And I feel people like to work with you.
I hope so. I mean, I'm still here, so I think so a little bit.
Yeah. Is there a role that you haven't gotten to take on that you would like to kind of grab onto in the future?
I want to be Iron Man, but I think it's already cast. No, there are always different types of roles that I would love. I mean, I'm trying to put together a few projects now that I'm involved with, so we'll see.
All right. Well, let's go to the audience before we get out of here.
Sure, let's
we
do
have
it.
a couple of questions.
Hi, Morris. I'm a big fan of your work.
Thank you.
I wanted to say, being that you've been in so many films, is there a role that's been challenging, maybe getting into the character of that role? And back then, when you were filming Boys in the Hood, did you know that the influence that I had back then, that it would still have that same influence, if not more, till this day?
That's a great question. I had no idea when I did Boys in the Hood. I was just a young, budding actor who got a part in a movie, didn't know what I was doing, just showing up to work every day and just saying my lines. I had no, character development, dealing with. I was just there, and I had no idea. I mean, I was no one had ever seen me. I hadn't really done anything prior to that, so I didn't think people were going to go see a movie, which I was one of the leads. And at that time, nobody really knew Cuba. I mean, people knew Ice Cube, but he was from music, and people knew Fishburne from like Pee-wee's Playhouse. So, you know, at the time, we really never knew that it was going to be that. So I was just there having fun. And what was your first question? I'm sorry.
Is there a role that was like challenging as far
Oh
as
yeah,
getting in the character?
I think the most wow. I mean, this role is a challenging role. The Best Man was a very challenging role, only because of the emotional aspect of the roles. You know, especially with the Best Man, I've had emotional scenes, and it's tough because you get on set, you become like a family, and you're working with a huge ensemble cast, and everyone's happy and having fun and talking about what they did the night before, but yet I got to go sit in the corner and figure out what I need, you know, stay in character because I have a lot of emotion come up. That's happened on this set too, actually.
Yeah, Best Man Holiday, you stayed crying. I mean, that was probably
you know,
tough.
it was rough. It was rough. I never forget one scene. You know, man, I'd done a take like, I don't know, I did it like, I don't know, 4 times. And then I had to go, you know, they wanted to do it again. I was like, okay, give me time. Let me go. I went to a closet and was in the closet for a minute. And then, well, time's up. Marsh, you ready? You ready to start crying? That's Malcolm Lee. So it gets challenging sometimes.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
And one last question before we go.
Hi, Morris. My name is Eartha. Huge fan of your work.
Thank you.
In recent years, how do you feel the character dynamics have changed for roles for Black actors? And what do you credit that change?
Right. In recent years, I think just the opportunities have been much better, and the diversity of the roles have been much better. I mean, honestly, it's a true story. When I was coming up, like right before I did Boys in the Hood, it was somewhat of a challenge to get roles, and I didn't even think when I heard the title Boys in the Hood, my agent called me and was like, yeah, you want this movie, you know, Boys in the Hood, because at that time, a lot of roles were for like gang members. And, you know, that wasn't my essence. And, you know, and at that time, I really didn't know what I was doing as an actor, and I couldn't really get there. So even when he sent me the script called Boys in the Hood, thought it was just going to be about some gangs. But I just wanted to go in and try to get a part. And then once I read it, I was like, okay. And so fortunately, it wasn't a part for a gang member. It was the athlete. And I had an opportunity. So I think the roles have gotten better just in terms of diversity and positivity.
And I think to have you as the face of a network show is so important, and I'm so happy to see you doing it.
Thank you.
And
Thank
to be
you.
doing it well, guys. It's a
Thank
really good show, and I cannot wait to see where these characters go. I'm locked in.
Thank you so much.
So if you guys want to check it out, The Enemy Within premieres on February 25th and airs on Mondays at 10 p.m. after The Voice on NBC. Give it up for Morris Chestnut.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.